Glasses sighting. Hey guys, alright, so we're gonna start off with the Maybelline Fit Me Matte and Poreless foundation, and the color I got was number 330, and I'm just going to stipple it on my face with my Real Techniques stippling brush. Now, this foundation went on just a little bit streaky, but that's common when using this brush for me when dealing with foundation, so that was fine. And as you can see, I just had to take a little bit more product and spread it across my forehead, which is what I did. I took the same amount that you see on the back of my hand and placed it on my forehead and just spread it around. Now this foundation, when it went on, it felt actually a little bit sticky, and I didn't like that too much, but the sticky feeling went away as the foundation began to set in my face. So yeah, this is how it looks freshly applied. Not feeling it. As you can see, it has a little bit of a ghostly cast, and I'm not really into that. So, and it's a bit uneven, so I'm just gonna take my damp beauty blender and kind of like blend it out a little bit, get rid of those streaky marks, and try to make it look a bit more smooth, and hopefully get rid of this all nasty cast that it's giving my skin. Now, as you can see, my face looks a little bit blurred, so I guess the Poreless is trying to take effect. And now we're going to use the Master Conceal concealer, and this is in the shade number 40 medium. I picked this one because I felt like the dark was going to be a little bit too dark. Well, at least looking from the bottle, it looks like it was going to be too dark. But clearly, I guess I could have went a shade under. As you can see, this concealer went on so light. I love the consistency, but what I didn't love was the fact that the concealer looks really ashy and really bright. And as you can see, I am a bit freaked out by it. But the good part is that it kind of blends out nicely, but not nice as in a way that it blended well into my skin in terms of the color started to look really nice, and it just blended nicely into my skin in terms of, hey, I got it to tone down a bit, and it didn't look like patchy or cakey or anything like that. So as you can see, I'm just blending away and hoping to get rid of this nasty cast, and in my head right now I'm just like fed up. So now here comes the ultimate fail, which is this powder, and as you can see, I don't even make it too far with this. I am completely like mortified with how this powder looks on my face. As you can see, it even made it look even more ashy, so I had to come off camera and apply my Ben Nye powder. Yeah, I'm just not feeling that at all. So I had to go back to my Holy Grail product. Yeah, so as you guys can see, I'm just really not feeling it that much. Like in this light, it looks okay, but I'm going to show you a comparison right here of how it looks in a different, like in a more natural light. All I did was change the settings on my camera so you guys can see how it really looks like in a more true light. But yeah. It still to me isn't as true, because what I see in the mirror and what I'm seeing on this camera right now is just not it. But here are my final thoughts. Hey guys, alright, so this is going to be my initial thoughts part of the video about the Maybelline Fit Me Matte and Poreless Foundation, Concealer, and Powder. You just saw me try on the foundation and concealer and powder and all that. Well, attempt to try on the powder. But yeah, you guys saw me put it on, and now I'm just going to tell you how I feel sort of unofficially about this foundation. I had it on for a good couple of hours because it was like 4 o'clock when I put that on. It's now about 5 hours later. It's like 9 o'clock. And okay, let me just start off with the packaging and everything before we get to the nitty-gritty. So the bottle, it looks great. I love the little pop of color that they have on the bottle. It looks a lot better than the original. The formula in terms of consistency, is really nice. I really like it. It doesn't feel heavy, but it does feel a little bit sticky on my skin. I feel like it does feel better than the original formula, but in terms of color, I don't think that the color is better. With the original formula, you know, it oxidized really well, as does this foundation too, but upon application, I found that the new formula is just a lot more ashy than the original formula, and I did not like that at all. I don't think that it complements my skin tone, I mean, like my undertone one bit, and I really don't like that. If anything, I love for my foundations to match my undertone and keep my face nice and warm and not dead looking and things like that. So that was really annoying. Another annoying part, well, we all know this is annoying about drugstore foundations on the whole, is the fact that it didn't come with a pump. So you're gonna have to pour it out on the back of your hand or buy a pump to put on this foundation, and if it were me, I was not gonna buy a pump to put on this foundation because it's not even one of my favorites. The color that I got was number 330 Toffee Caramel, and in comparison to the old formula, like, the colors look like they match up pretty well, but it's just a really slight difference. I'll show you guys a clip of that in a minute. But yeah, there's just a very slight difference. At first glance, I really liked how this color looked, but for some reason I was just like, I know this undertone is gonna be a bit ashy because these bottles are so deceiving. So yeah. In terms of scent, I didn't smell anything when I put it on, so I guess it's fragrance free. And it said it's for normal to oily skin. Well, I have really oily skin and I'm still matte, so I haven't blotted or anything. I even forgot that I had this foundation on my face, so that was another plus. Now the concealer, I actually really like the consistency of the concealer. I love the consistency of the concealer, and I love, how do I say this? I love the color of the concealer, but I do not love the undertone of the concealer. Like, it looked, when I put it on and started to blend it out, like when I first put it on, it looks like it was like, you know, a little yellow. It would have looked a bit warm and would have complemented my skin tone and everything. But once I blended it out, I was like, ooh, girl, God, what is this monstrosity, Jesus? I was just like, no. So I don't like the undertone of that concealer. Thankfully, I have my beauty blender, and I just continued to blend and blend and blend like it was nobody's business until I was somewhat satisfied with how it looked. Now for the biggest fail of this whole collection, the powder. That powder is so ashy. I'm sure you guys saw when I started to put it on, and then I just stopped because the way that looked in my mirror, I thought I was casket ready, and not casket ready in a good way. I looked dead. So I was like, hunty, no. First of all, to me, the powder looked so much lighter than everything else. I was like, why did I even fool myself into buying this powder? Because I know this is what usually happens. So that's kind of my fault for being stupid, but yeah. The powder did not match at all. It's a complete hot ashy mess, and I really wish Maybelline would just not do it. In terms of the color range, of course, a big thing with drugstore foundations is that they don't have a wider color range for women of color like myself, because you know we come in different skin tones and undertones and all of that. So we're gonna need a broad spectrum. So Maybelline really needs to work on that, and they really need to work on the undertones of these foundations. Now this foundation retails for like $7.99. I think I'll put all the prices down below. For me, it wasn't worth it. Well, the powder definitely isn't worth it, because I think the powder is like $10, $12 or something. The powder isn't worth a fart. I don't know, I'll probably have to use it as an eyeshadow or something. I don't know. Even I'm skeptical about doing that because I don't want my eyeballs looking like a hot ashy mess. The foundation, it oxidizes well, so I could probably work with this as like an everyday foundation, like if I want something really light. But then again, that's what I have my CoverGirl 3-in-1 for, so it's kind of like, why did I even pick this up? Because I don't see myself reaching for this often at all, to be honest. As for it being matte and poreless, yeah, I do see that my pores are blurred out, which I do like, and the foundation is matte, but I did see some luminosity going on around my cheek area, like at the highest points of my cheeks. Right now I have on a highlighter, but before I applied my highlighter, I really saw like a luminosity going on up here. So I was like, it was cute for me, but for somebody who was really looking for a true matte foundation, it might be a little a turn off. So yeah, those are basically my thoughts about this matte and poreless collection. For me, it was a no-go. It was just a waste of a few dollars. I would much rather just buy my CoverGirl 3-in-1 Queen from the Queen collection and just be done with it. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Those were my thoughts, and until my next video, I will touch you guys soon. Bye.